just congratulating ourselves and comforting ourselves. That's what Women's Day is about for me.
So Women's Day to me means, we get to celebrate our achievements as women. We get to also encourage one another as women. We get to basically come together and celebrate, There are many things that women couldn't do back then, but now women are leading men. So Women's Day to me is it's a very nice day.
Why mind your blind and tomorrow can't see? It's me say, you say you love how my walk. Me like a face, yes, never can you but it's a guy who's another that straight through your heart. Me a trouble me bad now, woman say you got that. You knew I was trouble when I walked. But you never know me so bad. You get a touch from my heart, yeah. You never know. I know you know saying things bad. Hot like a pistol. Woman tell him.
Talk to them.
I'm making girl and girl and tie like this. Tell her to cry, don't cry like this. What we gonna do when I lie like this? Put it in your like I like this.
Like I like this.
Like I like this. Talk to me. With a first time like this. All in the day when it bright like this. Boys at home don't try like this. Boy, you get them warm. And we'll break the law. You see them for the first time, now you can't tell them you can't. You see them something, yeah. That's something, yeah. Women, my left, my wife, and I left my home, my job. You knew I was. You knew I was trouble.
Talk to them.
You're so bad to the bone. Can't leave you alone. It's like you're inside my dreams. A perfect fantasy. You're so bad to the bone. Can't leave you alone. It's like you're inside my dreams. A perfect fantasy. Never, never, never.
Never, sing it.
Never, never, never. I might think about it if you treat me like a lady. I might think about it and you just might.
Sing it.
Never, never, never. Never,
Sing it.
never, never. I might think about it if you treat me like a lady. I might think about it and you just might get it.
So sexy. Sex. You wanna read? Talk to them.
Boy, you sure you wanna jump in the middle? In the middle, it's so hot you will scissor. Boy, you sure you wanna jump in the middle? You ready? Say, I can be your dream or I can be your nightmare. So be careful when you touch me, baby, take it slowly. Everybody knows me, I'm better down. So we are come around, they see me only.
Well, guys, thank you very much for kicking it with me. But before I go, I have some very important information for you guys. If you're an upcoming actor or actress, there will be some movie auditions coming up at the National Theatre. The movie is called Basket 53, and the auditions will be at the National Theatre this Sunday. So make sure you don't miss them. We're looking for skilled people, basketballers. And if you're good at acting and want to take your acting to the next level, make sure you come to the auditions. The auditions will start at midday, sharp. So make sure you send us a message on Facebook or something, or ask me and I will let you know all about it. That's all we had for you in login. Make sure you tune in next week. I will have so much information and entertainment from the login team.
Club is brewed longer for easier drinking, brewed slower for great taste.
Club, tastefully different.
NTV, turning on your world.
Program Guide.
Tonight on NTV.
Ricardo, save your marriage now. You still have time. Get help for your problem. Go talk to a doctor.
Don't you dare pity me.
No, Ricardo, I'm not.
I told you it'd be dangerous. That's why I'm in jail now.
No, it's because you're an idiot.
Own that child before the mob does.
Why should he talk if we can't protect him?
You talk to the feds tomorrow, I'll kill you.
Have we played enough games here?
What did Roman tell you in that car?
A man lies dead by his own hand, yet this boy remains silent.
We know more about your client's actions than you do.
Sometimes being strong means asking for help. I don't know nothing.
Tonight on NTV.
Street Live in association with
Reham Fun Time. Fun all the time.
Manya gange bamta ankoroja tunda nigina tunda one charwa jara myako mukaga sobodde somesa ko baganda bange babato bange uzeeko n'akapiki n'ebirala bingi byombo musanzeemu enfuufu site kanso tusumbuwa kaseera n'obeera mukozi olw'enfuufu bwebutyo n'okwongera bbeeyi y'ebintu.
Reham Fun Time, strictly all the way.
Reham Fun Time. Fun all the time.
And the change of government won't stop a thing. I've run out of fingers counting the number of multinationals setting up here. What about the 3 companies that announced their plans to launch last week? I say they're shopping. Me, I'd be looking to sell. At what price? More. Much, much more. I don't know who you are or how you know these things, but one thing I'm sure of, you're in the wrong job. Here, call me tomorrow at 9 o'clock in the morning. I'd like to hear more from you.
Are you ready for your big break? The East African, understanding the region.
NTV, turning on your world.
Good afternoon, this is NTV and we bring you NTV at 1 now. My name is Malcolm Sime. Let's start with the headlines. Checking on the excesses in the telecom industry, law to protect consumers in the offing.
It was an illegal construction. He was not given one notice. There were more than 2 notices.
A narrow escape. A woman in Kamocha is injured after debris from an illegal structure falls through her roof.
Fratelli e sorelle, buonasera.
And 1 year in office, Italian polls give Pope Francis the highest popularity rating of any recent pontiff. Welcome to NTV at ONE. The spokesperson of the Directorate of Public Prosecutions, Jen Okuo Kajuga, says the convicted former principal accountant in the office of the Prime Minister, Geoffrey Kazinda, will face fresh charges of defrauding government. He's a key suspect in the case of the mismanagement of 360 million from the office of the Prime Minister. And the move comes after prosecution withdrew charges against him at the Anti-Corruption Court yesterday when a key witness altered the evidence against Kazinda. Hearing of the case continues tomorrow.
We have actually registered the case afresh. In fraud cases, we tend oftentimes to find that they are very complex in nature, and in many instances there are conspiracies between so many people in order to perpetrate the offense. So we find that the Directorate is left with the option of having to assess the case and decide what is the level of criminal involvement of each and every participant. And we can use one whose involvement is not so big to testify, and we use their evidence to prosecute the entire case. Yesterday, when the matter came up in court, that witness turned hostile, totally departed from the statement that she had made, and actually trying to exonerate herself.
What are you going to charge the witness with?
The charges remain the same.
What's that?
The counts of abuse of office, the counts of embezzlement for Kazinda, they also remain. However, we do have an additional charge of conspiracy.
The Minister for ICT, Nyombi Tembo, is calling upon the Ugandan Communications Commission to enforce laws that protect consumers. He spoke this morning at the inaugural Consumer Parliament. The debate focused on quality of service and solicited messages and consumer rights and responsibilities, among others, in communication services. But we'll be hosting Fred Otuno from the Uganda Communications Commission.
In this era of competition and cutting-edge technology, operators ought to be providing fairly priced and quality service to consumers. However, this does not seem to be the case. Going by the recent UCC publication of the Quality of Service Survey, there are indications that there is still a lot to be desired with respect to customer satisfaction. I therefore would like to challenge the operators to raise to the occasion and invest more in infrastructure to match your customer.
The terms and conditions of the promotions are never clearly specified to consumers. So you get a promotion running and all you hear, terms and conditions apply.
When there is a bad experience by the customer, the operator suffers more than the customer. We're in the business to make money. So when you are unable to make a call, or if you are unable to transact, the operator loses money. So customer experience is of paramount importance to us, and we take it as the #1 priority.
This one has been very
In the studio with me right now on the same matter to discuss further on the subject of consumer protection is Fred Otun, the head of communications at the Uganda Communications Commission. You're very welcome, Fred.
Thank you, Mark.
I'm very impressed right now from Imperial Royale. I see the updates on Facebook asking Ugandans to air their views on consumer protection and telecom industry. But just straight to the questions, let's begin with legislation. What are the existing laws that could protect the consumer, and what are the gaps in these laws, according to you?
We operate under the Uganda Communications Act of 2013, which mandates the Commission, among other things, to protect consumers in the communication sector. And of course, that is further detailed in the regulations on how we can protect consumers and other guidelines and policies that we have developed at the Commission. So basically, the Act elaborates fairly well in terms of fair competition, ensuring that there is fair competition, that is protecting consumers, ensuring that there is a redress mechanism that should be put in place to protect consumers in terms of complaints and so forth. So there is sufficient, if I may say, legislation or provision of the Act that protects consumers.
Okay, then how can UCC actually enforce these laws when there's talk that UCC gets funding from telecom companies? Some will argue that this ties your hands, like seem to be biting the hand that feeds you. Is that true?
Well, the two are distinct. Them giving us, paying what is statutory is different from us enforcing our statutory obligation as well. So I don't think that the telecom companies paying levy from their gross annual income compromises the position of the Commission to enforce the law. However, the lacuna or the gap in that law is that we are in the process of developing specificities with respect to sanctions, with respect to quality of service that we are probably discussing today. So once that schedule of sanctions or penalties is approved or gazetted and becomes law, then we are able to enforce that and make it practical. Within the sector.
Okay, let's now shift to the SIM card registration. Police say the registration has not helped them, say, trace criminals because the information sometimes collected does not help them. Is there going to be another exercise in this case, or you believe that SIM card registration actually helps police, and that's not true?
Well, it does, because I want to say that there were challenges, of course, that we faced in the SIM card registration, namely that the documents or the identity cards that subscribers used were varied, and the authenticity of some of them was something that was very hard to prove, and that probably brings in the challenge of proving who owns which SIM card as per the information that they have detailed. But nevertheless, the process of verification is continuous, and we believe that at one point that will catch up with those who probably submitted wrong names. And if we are able to, if the telecom companies are not able to verify the identities in terms of preciseness of the kind of request they had put forward, they're supposed to terminate or deactivate such SIM cards.
So what is the update? Is the exercise still going on? What is the rest of the SIM card registration process?
Well, SIM card registration is an ongoing exercise, especially for those who are acquiring new numbers. But for those that had existing numbers prior to the exercise, that has stopped. Yes, the process now is verification, and after verification is done, we deactivate, or the telecom companies will deactivate those whose data does not tally with the kind of requests that have been put forward.
Thank you very much, Fred. Fred is the head of communication at the UCC, and he was here to, take us through some of these technicalities concerning consumer protection in as far as the telecom industry is concerned. Now, the Minister for Presidency, Frank Tumwebaze, has said that many of the resident district commissioners sacked in the recent reshuffle did not have the academic qualifications necessary, while others were conniving with land grabbers. And Tumwebaze wants Parliament to pass a law streamlining the work and duties of RDCs. He spoke while appearing before the Parliamentary Committee on Presidential Affairs.
No RDC now we have who does not have a minimum of senior 6. That one is now, actually most of them have masters, most of them have degrees and diplomas. So as you meet them in your districts, just know these are reasonable people and they can really understand This time as the presidency, we requested the president to allow us carry out a scientific appraisal. You are an absentee RDC, go home. There were others who were staying in Kampala, yet they are RDCs of another district. Yes. You are another DC involved in scandals, go home. Okay? You are another DC protecting land grabbers, go home. That's why the casualties were many. Okay? So really, if somebody from your district was sacked, don't plead for him or her, get to know why. And maybe recommend other active people to the president. You never know. He could pick them in future. And we are saying, end of this month, we will invite the chair and perhaps to come with a few committee members. We are taking them to Changwanzi to teach them not only the military drills, which I will justify to Honorable Gwada that they are also important, but what are their rules? Partly, Mr. Chairman, why we have a problem with the RDC's work, the RDCs drive their mandate from Article 203. Okay? But again, under that article, if you read it, there is no other law that defines in detail the terms and conditions of work of the RDC. Yet if this RDC was strengthened, he could stop corruption before it takes place.
Kampala Capital City authorities planning to demolish an illegal structure in Kamocha, Chifumbira Zone 1. And last night, debris from the structure that is still under construction fell through the roof of a house nearby, injuring one woman.
Sanga munana kitundu ngenkuba etonya amatafari negayita mu mabaati negangwako nga ndi ku buliri nga nebase.
We heard the sound, but from there we didn't go out because the time which it fell down, we were sleeping and the rain was falling down.
Naye ngeno bazimba okuva wansi bulungi kati batuuse waggulu bwe bati ne bakolayo nga futi 3 ne bazongerako bwe bati waggulu. Kati netweraliikira nnyo nti ekintu ekyo kijja kutugwira kubanga ne seminti waabwe si munywevu n'abasajja be balese okuzimba si batendeke bulungi.
Twebaka kiro bazimba kiro bo tebazimbangako misana bukyaba kitandika bazimba kiro na Sunday.
The owner of that building had been given notices to stop construction. It was an illegal construction. He was not given one notice. There were more than 2 notices, but he went ahead with the construction. We are going to demolish his building, and I would like to take this chance to also tell the public that we are going to come out with a list of condemned buildings in Kampala, which we intend to either demolish or get their owners to work on them.
We're now going to take a short break. NTV at 1 comes back with more news.
Sunlight adds fabric conditioners to washing powder to give you Sunlight 2-in-1 for sensational cleaning and fragrance that lasts and lasts and lasts. Sunlight 2-in-1, sensational cleaning.
Power theft can not only cause destruction of properties and power outages, but can also lead to death.
This is today's Umeme outage report. To improve supply stability, maintenance was carried out in the following areas today.
Speak up and report power theft. It's a crime and affects everyone. Let's unite against power theft and save lives.
The real deal. Get the 300 ml Coke, Fanta and Sprite now at only 800 shillings. Running out of airtime can happen to anyone. The next time you recharge, simply dial *161# to get going again.
On the next episode of La Patrona.
Be the man I need, and why can't you stop other people from hurting me?
No! Valentina, her poor heart couldn't handle it.
But she was fine when I left her here. She was feeling good. What happened, Cecilia? I asked you to watch her.
I had to arrest Macario.
What do I care about that?
You should be careful, Mr. President. With all due respect, sir, because he's threatening to open his big mouth.
Hey, relax, what's wrong with you? I asked you not to hurt her, Alejandro. That's all that I asked of you. I saw her crying, damn you. You'll pay for every tear Patricia sheds.
La Patrona.
At Orange, we know that running out of airtime can happen to anyone. That's why we bring you Wetase. Simply dial *161# to get going again. Convenience changes with Orange. Today changes with Orange.
This is NTV at ONE. The Uganda AIDS Commission has this morning inaugurated new members, board members. Major Raramira Ranga is one of the new members on the board, while Vinod Nanturia stays on for another term of office as board chairman.
HIV must be in trouble. Major Raramira Ranga, in the amount of monies under the HIV campaign is spent on communication, on radios, sport messages. How much money goes there? Couldn't we achieve that with no or little money? Has somebody, for example, engaged these telecom companies, if they can adopt all sorts of ringtones and whatever, why not adopt a ringtone? Instead of adopting, say, Sebagana's ringtone without his permission and his why not adopt a ringtone that tells a person, please, HIV is real and it kills? They have an obligation to air non-commercial ads that promote national good and safety.
I don't think the billboards, I don't think all these other media things do work like the family works. We have to go, whether it means going from house to house, we have to talk to the family. That's the unit where HIV/AIDS starts.
The fight we are going to continue with, and the new board is going to take up the challenge and increase the fight against HIV/AIDS aggressively so that we can eliminate the transmission of HIV/AIDS to babies that are born with HIV.
Let's have a look at what's happening across the borders. Pope Francis is celebrating his first year in office. The Argentinian-born pontiff is currently on a week-long spiritual retreat with cardinals and bishops in the Alban Hills near Rome. Italian opinion polls give Pope Francis the highest popularity rating of any recent pontiff. Still, some say Francis' papacy so far has shown a change of style rather than of substance. Pope Francis is the first Latin American and the first Jesuit to lead the Roman Catholic Church.
Sorelle, buonasera.
Today's anniversary is not being marked in any official way, a move that Vatican watchers say is in keeping with the Pope's tendency to eschew pomp and ceremony. Since he took office, pilgrims have been arriving in Rome in unprecedented numbers. Pope Francis is also riding high on social media, with 11 million following him in 9 languages on Twitter. Francis' approval rating has remained high despite a recent UN report accusing the Catholic Church of systematically covering up for tens of thousands of child-abusing priests reported to the Vatican.
77-year-old Francis has appointed new advisors to help him run the church and is planning major reforms of Vatican finances and of the scandal-hit Vatican Bank. The Pope's compassionate attitude, especially his outreach to believers who have abandoned going to Mass and to divorced Catholics banned from receiving communion, is not universally admired by traditionalist cardinals. Likewise, his attitude towards gay people, he says that he is not going to judge them, contrasts strongly with that of his predecessor, Pope Benedict, who called homosexuality intrinsically evil.
Sport now. Dani Alves scored an injury-time goal as Barcelona defeated Manchester City to claim a comfortable 4-1 aggregate win in their Champions League tie, and PSG also reached their quarterfinals for the second successive season after beating 10-man Bayer Leverkusen.
Barcelona showed their true quality by eliminating Manchester City from the Champions League, their coach Gerardo Martino said in response to questions about poor run of form by his team. While it was not a vintage performance from the Catalan side, they showed the right intensity and flashes of quality to beat City 2-1 and eliminate the Premier League team 4-1 on aggregate last night. In a cagey encounter, it was Lionel Messi who made the breakthrough midway through the second half. City's Pablo Zabaleta was then given a second yellow card for dissent, and there were late goals from City's Vincent Kompany and Dani Alves when the tie was all but decided. In the other game, Paris Saint-Germain advanced safely into the quarterfinals of the Champions League, beating Bayer Leverkusen 2-1 in France in their last 16 second leg to take their tie 6-1 on aggregate. Trailing 4-0 from the first leg in Germany 3 weeks ago, the Bundesliga club took an early lead on the night through Sydney Sam, but Marquinhos equalized soon after. Leverkusen captain had a penalty saved before Ezekiel Lavezzi put PSG in front 8 minutes into the second period, and the sending off of Emre Can saw the visitors bow out with 10 men.
That's it in sports, and that winds up NTV at ONE. But for more sports updates, fixtures and transfer news, coming up is Omomuli. Lumansi, Ismail and Alan Darren will be coming up with the very latest in that world. Good afternoon.
NTV, turning on your